That's funny. All right, you two. I like this movie. I was always wondering what my friends were doing when they were locked down and they couldn't go to the club. And now I know.
Oh, you
They always told me I have friends on both sides of that. And I was always wondering because yeah, they're working. I know they're doing something on the side, but it gave me an idea of what they were doing because I just thought it was hilarious to see this because I know my friends like this. Talk about how this came about for you two.
Okay. It was during the pandemic. We were home. We're married, by the way. We were both home, bored and driving each other crazy. And we're like, we better do something creative, or she might kill me. Um,
I was close a couple times, yeah.
and so I was chatting with a lot of people online, and I saw these universal themes of isolation and loneliness and depression and needing to connect, and them telling me stories of like, oh, I haven't seen anybody in days. And so I'm like, I want to capture this moment in time without knowing how it ends. And then the whole OnlyFans thing started happening. And I'm like, that's interesting how this is, the need for that, and people to be entertained and at the same time connect. And so the same themes came up. And I had a friend who had just met who was an AA and had just met a dancer. And he told me about that. I'm like, hmm. So it was like all these ingredients that came together. I'm like, how can I think that's a story? These are characters that I'd like to explore. And then that's how I started writing it, and basically taking things from real life of what people were telling me. I'm like, okay, this is a character, that's a character, and then I'm I knew it couldn't be repetitive because it would be boring. And then the whole dancer, sex worker. Okay, this is the person that's going to tell this story. And while they don't see this, the audience gets to see like voyeur her life and what she's going through. Because we never know that people go to clubs and stuff like that. You meet the dance, you don't know what their life is like because they're performing. It's it's they might be honest, but a lot of times they're not even using their real names. But these are human beings who are going through things. And so that's I go, this is a story I want to tell. I was intrigued. And I start every story when I write, when as a filmmaker, I start with a question that I don't have the answer. And so, but there were a few things that I knew that I wanted for this story. And one of the things I wanted, I didn't want the story to be about the dancer, the stripper, the sex worker who wants to get out. Because we've seen that movie a million times, who fell into hard times, and that's why she fell into this. And, she hates her life and hates her and all that. I wanted to tell the story of the dancer who wants to do this as long as she can, like an athlete who's, might not be 20 years old, but you're still showing up every day because you enjoy something out of this. And I go, okay, that's the character I want to follow. But she still has the same challenges as everybody else. And that's how the story came about. And then I had luckily I'm married to an actress who is incredible. And I knew if she wasn't a strong actor, I wouldn't have done this movie because it all lies in her performance. The truth is, you can't hide it. Her perform. You can't hide her performance or her in any way when you're telling this story. So it's like, okay, I have the right actor. Does she want to do this? Does she want to go there? Because she plays a lot of other characters. I'll let her talk more about that if she wants. But this is not the typical character that she plays.
Well, I was just going to say, I want to hear from the woman's point of view, and I'll tell you why. Because when I used to go to Hustler Club and or go on the road with some of my female friends, yes, I used to do this. Yeah, I was always intrigued, and the reason I wanted to know, I wanted to know what they went through, walking through the airport, getting there, the safety of everything, and then being a psychologist. They always were giving advice, even though it wasn't their real name. They still had the feelings. So there's one scene in there where you're talking to the guy and he's going, can you pretending that you're my wife? That is actually true, and that has actually happened because I've seen that. And I thought that was great. So the stories, you might have made them up, you might have had some that came out to be true, but they're real stories that I have personally seen. So from the woman's point of view, how did that make you feel?
You know, it's Very, again, very humbling because it made me feel as the actor and also as the character, where you see so many different people going through their own lonelinesses, troubles, ups and downs. Uh, Many people dealing with disease, death, financial troubles, all of those things, which were just exacerbated by the pandemic. So, as Summer, as the therapist slash sex worker slash literally confidant and friend for that small period of time, she has to just put her problems by the wayside and be like, okay, let me just be with these people, and they are the star. They're the ones whose problems we listen to and try to figure out. And I as the both the actor and as the character, I was trying to empathize with each client and let them know that they had someone to lean on for that short period of time.
And you are who they want you to be.
Absolutely. So, some want someone more playful, need a shoulder to cry on. You just have to modify. Actually, it's kind of funny because in a way, Summer or a sex worker is very much like an actor in the sense of, who do you need me to be right now? And that's what I will inhabit and that's what I will express.
The interesting thing about that also is you are their therapist one way or another. I would see a lot of people go in and they would say, "Hey, you know what? I just want to sit here. I just need companionship." This is going into the clubs. And it was funny to see because I went out and one of my friends' houses, she was who I'm here now on her ranch helping her out, after they've been performing and things like that. Is they went around all over the world traveling, and then I would go on the road to be the protector, their friend. But I wanted to see what these guys were like and the couples because going to Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida, I remember going, "Hey, Brian, meet me at the strip club." I'm like, "Why do I got to go to a strip club? How are we going to have a meeting? We're going to have a business meeting." So they would bring their wives or their girlfriends, and that's what I saw this stuff. So to me, it's old hat, but it's fascinating for the audience that does not know what it's like.
I couldn't agree more. And I love that you brought that up, Brian, because that's what we love to do as filmmakers and storytellers and actors, is show people slices of life that people may not have tasted before or seen. It's like, hey, check this out. Look at these people with very different outside circumstances. Oh, but by the way, they're just like you. They also get sad and stressed and happy and joyful. Like, they have the ups and downs that you do as a human. So it's really wonderful to be able to to show the universality of these themes.
There's also another great scene in there is when "Can't you find another job?" And I was waiting for you to say, "I make a lot of money. I'm pretty happy. How dare you insult me?" Because these people don't realize you're going to work to pay the bills. And sometimes, where do you think a lot of these people? I can name a lot of my A-list celebrities who started in strip clubs. You
Mhm.
know, I'm thinking of Ginger Lynn. I'm thinking of my friend Diana, who started the Spearmint Climate Rhino clubs. She started. I'm at her house.
Oh,
She
wow.
started those, not the husband. She started these around the world. And we talk about the old days of how we've gone on to do different things. And it's fascinating because that's an insulting. I would have someone, that's like someone asked me, "What, you get paid to watch movies?" I'm like, "Yeah, but there's a lot more that goes into this. And how dare you? At least I'm happy. What about you?"
I'm glad that you said that, and that your friend, because if you noticed, the club owner is also a female, is a woman, which is not, it's more rare in that world, but it exists. So again, that's something I wanted to show. This is a woman who owns the club. It's not a guy who owns the club. It's a woman who owns the club. It's a dancer, a stripper who doesn't want to get out. She wants to keep. She loves what she does, and the guy that I played the role, the guy who questions why does she do this? Why he's judging her, and yet he's probably spending thousands of dollars at the club.
Exactly, and that's what that always got me because I was the DJ too, which is how I started off in my career. I worked at those clubs, which is how I got into radio. And if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been into radio, which I'm still in years later. Because what was everybody doing now? Podcasting, but it's really radio at home. So as you're like turning the camera so they can see you dance in the mirror, I just thought it was brilliant because that's what you had to do. It's about that environment and putting the ambience there that worked. And these guys could appreciate it, and those couples actually loved it.
Yeah, and that's why I have a couple.
Yeah.
I have two couples in the movie.
You say to get the audience to see this film? Because one, they need to see it because there's still those misconceptions of what they don't know or what they think they know. And never judge someone on what they're doing because it's about survival. It's about paying the bills and it's about going on to your next thing because she did it for family, right?
Absolutely. And we talked with so many people who they made the choice to dance, to be a sex worker because let's face it, it's better than temping. In some many ways, like it paid a lot better and
You
all of
can't make the money that you could possibly make. You can go in, and I mean, me and Diana were talking about, what is it like at the Hustler Club in Vegas? What's it like in Florida now? New York may be okay, but they're all going through it, and they've all been hit different ways, and it's not the way it used to be. Because we were there. I would literally be walking to the airport with a lot of money while they were stopped. Imagine this: the black guy wasn't stopped holding cash, but my female friends dressed down were. You can't make that stuff up.
Oh, you can't. You can't. And I love what you said. People do need to watch this film to help destroy some of the misconceptions about this world.
How do people reach out and follow this film? And where's it going? Where's it opening? Social media links also.
Okay, they can find us. They can find the movie on social media. Hot Summer Night Movie. They can find me, Oscar Torre, actor.
And I am Chuti2, first and last name, Chutitiu on Instagram and also Facebook.
And the movie's coming out November 21st on Amazon Prime. And then
And also YouTube movies. And also, I'm forgetting the other one.
you Google Play
Google
and
Play.
Tubi. It'll come
Tubi
out on
later on.
Tubi and the rest of the streamers.
Last question. What did you both learn from doing this? Because it's not easy directing this, but also in the confines of a controlled space, which I thought was great. Because people need to see this because there's not that many movies coming out of what happened during lockdown, not like this. And I know because I have to watch a lot of films. And even when I'm going to film festivals for this stuff that doesn't have distribution yet, I'm not seeing this. So for me, it was a breath of fresh air because it reminded me when I was in Vegas being by myself for 9 months, but I also knew it was coming as far as 2018. So I was prepared where other people, oh, it's only going to last a couple of weeks or how long is it going to last? And so I didn't have those issues, but everybody else did. And they were getting drunk. So the fact that she was not trying not to drink, I just thought it was brilliant because I just remember seeing it having, my job was to encourage everybody because I knew what was going on. I kind of had an idea when it was going to last, depending if you lived in California or Florida, but nobody else did. And I just remember one of my good friends, she did an event. I got on a Zoom, it was her birthday, and she was drunk. And I just remember her saying, I didn't sign up to be a teacher to teach my kid algebra as she was drunk. They were just going through it. And I just thought it just reminded me of a couple scenes in the movie.
Yeah, we have that scene in the movie.
It's
Literally.
so true. And you tapped in on something. You were saying, what did we learn? It's so funny. What did we learn as filmmakers and what did we learn as individuals? You said something, Brian, is being prepared. And how the heck do you prepare for a pandemic? Well, now we know a little bit more for that regarding that, but also as filmmakers, there were so many times that preparation did help us execute what we were, trying to put forth, and it was, and then there are a couple times where we, did forget some things, but as happens, you drop a ball or whatever, and you learn, okay, note to self, next time, remember XYZ. So yeah, that whole always be prepared is a tried but true saying.
I always say this, always be prepared, but be prepared for the unexpected too, because it's filmmaking. You just never know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Just
And we have plenty of that. I mean, the other thing I learned from the movie is that you don't need, which I suspected. I always said this to other people when they ask me for advice. I just say, go write a story and then go ahead and shoot it, even if it has to be with a phone or whatever, but do it. And so with this film, I really had to put my money where my mouth is, because I'm like, okay, it's a pandemic. I can't get a whole crew here. I can't shoot a normal film. So how can we do this? And basically it was a crew of 3, including her, who was on camera. It was her job to turn the mic on.
And use the clapper.
The clapper when we had a clapper, and sometimes we forgot the clapper, and it was like, that's a whole different story. But basically it was a DP, myself and her. So, and we told the story quickly. So that's one thing. That's one of the things I learned is, but the key is a story. You have to have a good story and a good character to carry the film. And the other thing I learned is that the shoes you wear as a dancer are important. Because she was pissed with those heels after a while.
Oh yeah. I was like, these hurt.
Can you see my feet? I got a lot of, can you see my feet?
Because if my feet aren't in the shot, I'm not wearing the shoes.
Well, you know what? There's always those people that have foot fetishes. So, what you did was they're there.
That is so
Absolutely.
true. That is very true.
All right. I want to thank you guys for this. An excellent film. It worked. And it didn't matter how many people you had or didn't have. It worked. I liked it. It was an enjoyable film. But, so now I get a chance to tell my friends, this is what some of my friends went through. While you were complaining, imagine what they had to do.
Brian,
Thank you, Brian. I
so
appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
We're really happy that you enjoyed it too. I mean, that's really what we aim
Yes,
for. as
especially that
filmmakers,
you've
we
been
reach
at clubs and stuff,
Yeah.
you know that